with the Raptors last season, I mean, there were a lot of big problems, but one of the things that didn't help the team garner on-court success, which eventually led to the tank, is the fact that the Raptors were given a pretty bad hand to start the season. The Raptors' first half of the season was the most difficult schedule in the NBA. I believe that to be true. I don't have exact verification of that. At the very least, it was one of the most difficult schedules to start the season, proven by how easy their schedule was to finish the season. It was very front-loaded of a schedule for the Raptors, which facilitated the Raptors being bad in the first half of this season, which facilitated the decision-making in regards to tanking at the trade deadline because the Raptors were so far behind the pace. Now, I don't think the Raptors anticipated how easy it was going to be the rest of the way because they were playing so many fellow tanking teams at the end of the season. The Raptors had too much talent that they won a bunch of games and won 30 games and maybe didn't give themselves the as good of a draft pick as they could have done. I think under the circumstances, they kind of did what they could because they were just playing so many bad teams. But the point is, the Raptors were put in a position where tanking became the most viable strategy for the team last season because of how difficult their schedule was to start the season. So now let's look at this season. How difficult of a schedule is it going to be for the Raptors this season, especially in like this depleted Eastern Conference where the East isn't super strong? Well, for starters, let's look at the strength of schedule to start the season, where we can anticipate the Raptors being at the start of the season. So, first 10 games at Atlanta, Milwaukee, at Dallas, at San Antonio, Houston, at Cleveland, Memphis, Milwaukee, at Atlanta, at Philadelphia. How many wins? Now, I put in the chat here. Let me know in the chat here. How many wins do we anticipate the Raptors getting in this 10-game stretch to start the season? The Raptors have been quite good at as in the opener in a lot of the recent seasons, I feel like, but not easy. Like traveling to Atlanta, who I think have had just like a sensational offseason. I think they're going to be a better team than the Raptors this season. Milwaukee may have regressed a bit, but they still have Giannis. They've signed Miles Turner. There's still talent on that team. At home, that's like not an easy game playing against Giannis. Like we haven't really found a solution for him the last couple of years with Darko. At Dallas, tough place to travel to. They're missing Kyrie Irving, but they also have Cooper Flag now. I think that might be a winnable game for the Raptors, though. At San Antonio, like Wemby could be back. They just drafted Dylan Harper. They have Darian Fox. Like that's a good team. That's not an easy game. Houston is a great team this season. Cleveland will likely be a great team again this season. Memphis will be improved. Milwaukee again. Atlanta again. And Philadelphia will be much improved. Like, I don't see any, like, I'm not looking at any games as, like, overly winnable in this stretch to start the season. And you know, it psychologically, like, it's a long season. There's 72 games other than these 10. Psychologically, it means a lot to get off to a good start and get out the gates hot. So, like, let me try and, like, how many wins can we, like, kind of expect the Raptors to get in this stretch? Like, at Atlanta, let's give the Raptors, like, a third of a win. Milwaukee at home, we'll give them, like, maybe 2/3 of a win. So, like, one there. Maybe 3/4 of a win here. Let's say a quarter. So let's say like they split these 5. So that's 2. So these 4. So 2 wins in the first 5. Maybe a fraction more. Maybe we'll even out somewhere. 2 tough games. I think they lose. Maybe they split these 2, 3. Maybe they split. Like I think 4 wins is certainly on the cards here, which isn't disastrous, but like I can't really see them going on like a big run to start the season. I think is what I'm trying to say here. I don't see like a 6-4, 7-3 start. I see more of like a 4-6 start, but I also see this like if things don't click out the gate, this could be an ugly start to the season. It's not an easy start to the season by any stretch of the imagination for the Raptors. Could easily be 3-7. Could definitely wind up to an 8, I think. But I don't realistically see this going very far in the other direction of like 7-3, 8-2. I just personally don't see that. Now, also within the Raptors schedule, traveling typically isn't quite as bad for the Raptors, but let's take a look at the back-to-back schedule. Now, this is where it's been a little bit more favorable for the Raptors. This one was posted by Owen Phillips here, at Owen LHJ Phillips, who looked at the team back-to-backs versus opponent back-to-backs. Raptors have 15 back-to-backs this season, but will play teams 18 times who are on back-to-backs in their schedule. That gives them a plus-minus in the back-to-back rankings of +3, which is third highest in the entire NBA. So a little bit of help in that regard there. 15 back-to-backs is the well, actually having 15 back-to-backs is on the higher end of the NBA, but the Raptors have the largest amount of opponent back-to-backs against them in 18. So that's where it kind of helps out the Raptors a little bit. So we have a fraction more than most teams, but we have a good amount more playing against us, which always is a little bit helpful and beneficial to Raptors to have that additional rest. Now, as for the entire season, we can kind of comb through it here. I'm a little bit more interested in... Oh, is it just going to cut off at January? All right. Well, let's go to NBA's website. I'm a little bit more interested in seeing what the schedule is going to look like around the trade deadline and at the end of the season. I'm kind of doing this on the spot as well here. So in and around the trade deadline, like, could they make a run before the deadline and see where they're at? Like, okay, OKC, New York, Orlando, easy games, Jazz, and tough game here. Easier game, easy, kind of tough game there. It's not that hard, not super hard of a schedule in and around the trade deadline, which I suppose is good. But like, how are we going to end the season here? Let's look. We're making a push for the playoffs. Last 6 games here. Yeah, let's go even further. Let's go last 10 games. Easy, a little tough, 50-50-ish, maybe. Like, where is this game? 8 p.m. at home against, winnable. Memphis could be tough. Boston would be winnable. To Miami could be winnable. Knicks, hopefully they're resting players. Brooklyn will be terrible. Honestly, end of the season run is pretty kind to the Raptors, which could mean that there's a bit of a more stacked schedule somewhere earlier on, and I think the first 10 games are a little bit difficult, but the last 10 games aren't unkind to the Raptors. So I kind of prefer, I just think it's beneficial to be easier schedule out the gate, build up the record, because late stage of the season is more variables like tanking, like teams resting guys. Also, if you win more games earlier, the morale is better and the vibes are better, and that absolutely is big in helping your team. So I think all of these things are important about the schedule. I think mostly it's not... I think in terms of how good of a schedule it is for the Raptors, it feels like on the surface to me, and I'm sure you could model this out and come up with an actual good answer, it feels like we're a decent amount above neutral in terms of positivity towards our schedule. Feels like we're in a position to thrive here, but everyone's got similar parameters. Everyone's going to have to eat shit at some points, and they have some fortunate stuff at some points. Still, I think it's still a little bit of an uphill battle to make the playoffs. I think it's most realistic a play-in tournament berth for the Raptors, but it does help a little bit to have this easier chunk, in my opinion at least, to end the season.